Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. In today's video, we are talking about another variety of Echeveria called as Echeveria Supia. Now it's an extremely beautiful succulent but does not tend to grow really huge. In the first glance, it tends to look like it is either a Sedaveria or a sedum, but it's actually an Echeveria hybrid. Now my succulent is in a pretty bad condition because of the 2 months of gap that the succulents were not taken care. They had a lot of sunburn. But I will put the picture of how it tends to look like. It's an extremely beautiful succulent. It tends to have a lot of these green, mint green leaves with a lot of orange linings, or the edges are very bright orange in color. It tends to grow quite well. It's an easy to grow succulent. That's why I'm putting it in level easy, because if you are a beginner, you're just starting off with succulent, this is one of the easiest succulent that you can grow. But you need to provide it with basic care requirements, which is soil. It has to be loose, porous and well draining, water when the soil is completely bone dry, and you have to give it a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating it. If you're going to keep it in indirect bright light, the succulent will still do quite well, but the colors will not be very visible, especially those orange edges will only appear when it is exposed to morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating your succulent. If you're not going to acclimate your succulent, this is what is going to end up like. Unfortunately, during the shifting, the succulent was placed in afternoon direct sunlight without it being acclimated, and due to which the succulent leaves happened to get burnt. There were a lot of burns on the succulent, but it's slowly recovering. Now never put your succulents out in afternoon direct sunlight, especially during the summers, or especially if you are from a place which is very warm. But if you only have direct afternoon sunlight as the only source of light, then you can use a green shade cloth or some kind of a filtration, so that only the filtered light tends to fall on your succulent. But if you tend to receive a good amount of morning direct sunlight, then there is nothing to be worried. You can put it out in morning direct sunlight after acclimating. You do not need a green shade cloth for morning sunlight, because the morning sunlight is very mild and usually does not harm the succulents. It does not burn the succulents. And usually, now again, this depends from city to city, from country to country. In some places, the morning sunlight starts getting really warm after 11 a.m. in the morning. At some places it stays cool even till 12 noon. So it all depends. You can judge. You're the better person to judge which amount of sunlight you would like to provide, and to what level you can stop giving them the morning direct sunlight. Because in my place, during the summers, I give my succulents morning direct sunlight only up till 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. But during winters, I expose them to morning direct sunlight and even a little bit of afternoon sunlight. So probably during winters, I tend to keep them out in direct sunlight until 1 in the noon. Talking about watering, as I said, water only when your succulent soil is completely dry. If you're going to overwater it, definitely it is an Echeveria variety. It has a high chance of getting overwatered and getting rotted. So ensure that you check the soil before watering it. If you feel, or if you're confused, you can always check the lower leaves. They will have wrinkles. You can then go ahead and water it. Dormancy, because it belongs to the Echeveria variety, it will go dormant during the winters, and summer is its growing period. Very soon it is going to get into its growing period. If you are a person who tends to use fertilizers, you can use any liquid based fertilizers. Do it once a month or once in 2 months. If you already have a lot of nutrients in the soil, you do not need to add any more nutrients. Please do not add excess nutrients in the soil. It will make your Echeveria weak, and then it will have issues. There will also be other issues like bugs, pests. There could even be root mealy bugs, especially when your soil is very, very highly nutrient. Always remember, almost all the succulents require a very lean nutrient soil, so you do not need to be worried much about the soil and adding of the nutrients. Talking about propagation, it's pretty simple. You can propagate it via leaves. You can do a stem cutting. You can separate the offsets, like you can see over here. It tends to put out a lot of pups on the stem. This is one of the Echeveria that tends to have this really thick stem. As we know, most of the Echeverias do not have stem, but these do have stem. This is an hybrid variety. The parentage is unknown. Apart from that, this succulent is distributed throughout Asia, and it has a lot of different names given to it. The exact name is Echeveria Supia. So the stem is the amazing part. You can do a stem cutting. You can separate the offsets from the stem, as you can see over here. I can go ahead and cut it off, but I do not want to do it. I just like this succulent in a clump. It still is recovering from sunburn. I usually do not pull out any of the leaves that are sunburned, because they are going to fall automatically. There is no point of pulling them out. So it's a pretty easy to grow succulent, quite hardy. If you want to start your collection with this succulent, you can definitely add it in your collection. It doesn't grow really huge. It tends to make these clumps. It tends to have a good amount of stem, and then it starts putting out a lot of babies and pups on the stem. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.